Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the NBA slate on DraftKings for Tuesday, October the 30th. We have 8 games tonight. Going to cover each position on this 8-gamer, talk about some of my favorite plays, some of my favorite studs, mid-range plays, and value options. We'll try and do my best to give a nice early look on this slate and talk about just the top plays in general. But before we do get started, guys, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video. It really means a lot. And if you have not subscribed yet, make sure you click that subscribe button down below. I would appreciate it. Do that so that way you won't miss out on any of my new videos. You can turn on notifications as well, and that will notify you every time I upload. But let's go ahead and start off at point guard on this 8-gamer. We do have James Harden up top, who is not going to be playing today versus Portland. He would have been our most expensive point guard, so since he is out, we have Russell Westbrook as the top point guard on this slate, 10,500. Against the Clippers, I do like Westbrook here. I feel like there's going to be a lot of potential value on this 8-game slate. We do have Steven Adams questionable, which could potentially open up value with Nerlens Noel, who did really well when he started for Adams. Noel is questionable as well, though. If they both miss, then Jeremy Grant could be looking at a ton of minutes. That game could go small, and Grant could have to play like 35, 36 minutes. So he could be a value play. We know Harden's going to be out, so that's going to open up some plays from the Rockets, Chris Paul. I think we can go back to Eric Gordon. We'll talk about P.J. Tucker, potentially a play as well. So I feel like there's actually going to be some decent value, some cheap options to where we could probably fit in Westbrook. Right now, he's not a priority for me. I don't feel like I'm going to be jamming him in. But if a lot of value opens up, I do like Westbrook at point guard if you're paying up top. $1,000 cheaper, like if you go $1,000 cheaper, there's some strong plays here. Chris Paul obviously being one of them. With James Harden out, Chris Paul did not do very well in his last game. Played 34 minutes against the Clippers and only put up 33 DraftKings points. I'm hoping some people shy away from him because it really doesn't make sense to go away from Paul when James Harden is off the court. Chris Paul just gets a ton of usage, just his assist rate, his scoring, he'll even grab rebounds with Chris Paul with James Harden off the court. Paul has 50, 60 point upside here. 9,300, just really like this spot for him. Against Damian Lillard, not an elite defender. I think Paul can easily go for 50, if not more than that. 9,300, one of my overall favorite plays on the slate. For 1,000 less, I also really like Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker just been so hot to start the year. Been playing so well with Dwight Howard no longer on the Hornets. Kemba Walker getting a big usage rate. Been playing very well without Dwight on this team. Just been doing so much when it comes to scoring. He's grabbing some rebounds, dishing out plenty of assists. He's pretty much been one of the hottest players to start off the year. I think he's averaging 49 DraftKings points so far this year. 8,300 just feels too cheap of a price for Kemba. He had this same matchup earlier this year against Miami. In Miami, played 40 minutes and put up 58 DraftKings points, had 39, 5, and 7. Just a great game from Kemba. Kemba's shown 60-point upside this year. I don't think he goes for 60 today, but he can easily get 50 in this spot against the Heat, especially in a competitive game at home. Those are the kind of games I want Kemba. Kemba at 8,300 is a price tag I'm definitely willing to pay. The guy's just been so good this year. I think I'd actually play Kemba over John Wall. With Kawhi Leonard probably going to play again today, or coming back today. He rested Monday. I expect Kawhi to play today. I'd prefer Kemba over Kyle Lowry. Kemba in that 8K range, one of my favorite plays on the slate as well. And then if you're going away from those top two guys, in the mid-range, there are some plays here that you could go to, but I don't feel like I'm going to be really trying to go cheap at point guard. I like a lot of the top options. Westbrook, obviously. I think Lillard in tournaments makes sense, but I'd probably rather play CP3. Ben Simmons, 9,100, feels a little underpriced, but I don't know if I want to go to Ben Simmons here. He's probably going to be guarded by Kawhi. Probably shy away from Simmons today. I think I'd rather play Lillard, rather play Chris Paul. In that 8K range, obviously love Kemba. But like 7K and below, there's not a ton I see that I feel like I have to have. Maybe like Kyrie at 7K just because that's a cheap price for Kyrie. De'Aaron Fox has a really good matchup against the Magic. Great spot for him at 6,900 though. I don't know if I'm going to be willing to pay that price tag for De'Aaron Fox. I think I'd rather just try and get up to the two guys I've already talked about. So that's really it for point guard. For me at least, the options I really like. So let's move on to shooting guard. Obviously, up top here, you do have Harden not playing today. Kawhi Leonard listed as out on DraftKings because he rested on Monday, but I would imagine that Kawhi is not going to rest 2 games in a row, so I expect Kawhi to be back for this game against the Sixers. At 9,500, you could go to Kawhi today, but I think I'd rather play CP3. I think I'd honestly rather play Lillard over Kawhi. So I probably won't have a ton of exposure to Kawhi today. A shooting guard, I like some of the mid-range plays. Really like Eric Gordon, 6,100. He's going to see a big usage bump with James Harden off the court. Going to have to take a lot of shots. He only shot 21% from the field in that last game against the Clippers, but he did play 33 minutes, took 14 shots, only 21 DraftKings points, so it was a disappointing game from Gordon. I'm expecting a bounce-back game from Gordon. I'm expecting a bounce-back game in general from the Rockets here. I think Chris Paul plays well. I think Eric Gordon at 6,100, a pretty strong play as well to go along with Chris Paul. And he is definitely the guy I really like at shooting guard if I'm going to the mid-range. And then looking for cheaper plays, so Gordon Hayward's 5,300. He's still on a minutes limit, but that is a very cheap price tag for Gordon Hayward. But we're not going to get more than 25 minutes from Gordon Hayward. So even at this price tag, he could easily get 25, but his upside's probably limited. Maybe in cash you could go to Hayward, but I don't think I'd really do that. I'd probably play Batum over Hayward for 100 less. Batum seems like a really cheap option, or like a guy that's too cheap today. 5,200 for Nick Batum is just a cheap price. He could easily return value on that price. So Nick Batum in cash games, especially as a price play, really like him at 5,200. And then getting down to the value options, I think we're going to have a lot of value at small forward and potentially power forward. So I'm probably not going to be going cheap at shooting guard. Gerald Green, definitely a cheap shooting guard you could consider. He's 3,900, really, really cheap. Played 23 minutes last game against the Clippers with Harden out, put up 27 DraftKings points. Didn't get much of a price increase. He's still sub 4K, just 3,900. So I do like Gerald Green, cheap option. But I think that's it for shooting guard. Let's move on to small forward. At this position, I like a lot of value here. I don't think I'm going to be touching a lot of the top options at this position. Maybe like Taurean Prince against Cleveland. Maybe Aaron Gordon against Sacramento. But the cheap options I like. So we'll go down. Bielitsa at 5,700, a value play I definitely like here. Cedi Osman's been playing really bad this year, or just at least as of late. He started off the year really well. Been playing bad as of late, but it looks like Kevin Love's going to be out for a month. I expect Cedi Osman to pick up a lot of usage, a lot of opportunity with Kevin Love out. At 5,500, I do really like him at small forward. Carmelo Anthony, we can definitely go back to the well line at 5,300. I expect he's going to continue to start with James Harden out. He played 34 minutes last game against the Clippers, 35 DraftKings points. Love Carmelo here. Definitely a guy I'm going to have a ton of exposure to again today. A core play for me. I feel like he's going to be probably one of my highest exposed guys, along with Chris Paul and along with Kemba Walker. Carmelo's just going to have to play a lot of minutes. He's going to have to put shots up. 5,300 just didn't see enough of a price increase to where I feel like I have to fade him. At 5,300, Carmelo could easily get 7x value on this price and just be one of the best point per dollar plays on the slate. Love him as small forward. And then another small forward I really like, going down cheaper. So Jeff Green at 4,400. We don't have news on Markieff Morris, but he is questionable. If Markieff Morris is out, I expect Jeff Green probably will start for Morris and is probably going to play close to 30 minutes. At 4,400, Jeff Green, as long as Markieff Morris is out, is a value play that I do like. Also really like Jeremy Grant. I don't know if I skipped over him. He's right there, 4,200. Jeremy Grant going to be a guy I have a lot of exposure to today. So if Nerlens Noel and Steven Adams both miss this game, they are both questionable right now as I'm recording this video on Monday night. If Adams and Noel both do not play, I expect Jeremy Grant to start at center and probably have to play a ton of minutes. He played 37 minutes in their last game against Phoenix. Steven Adams did not play in that game. Jeremy Grant, never a good point per minute producer. Even if he plays 35 minutes, he's not going to get you 50 DraftKings points. But if he's going to play 35 minutes against the Clippers at 4,200, I think he's definitely in play. The Clippers don't really have a ton of bigs they can put up against Grant. They have Gortat, they have Boban, but they're not really giving Boban a ton of minutes. They do have Harrell. I really, really like Harrell. If you think this game goes small, if Noel and Adams both miss, I love Grant, also love Harrell on the other side. We'll talk about him at power forward when we get there. But Jeremy Grant, 4,200. Even if Adams and Noel play today, I think he is still a good option at 4,200, really cheap price tag. If they both miss, Grant, one of my favorite values on the slate. Sam Decker started last game for Kevin Love, I believe, and he did play 24 minutes, 17 DraftKings points. If he starts again and we can get 25, 26, 27 minutes out of Decker against the Hawks, could definitely be a value. Not a guy I'd go too heavy on, but at 3,700 and he's going to play 25 minutes again, could be an option we consider. But I think that's it for small forward. Let's move on to power forward. You do have PG, Blake Griffin up top here, but I think this is probably another position I'm trying to go cheap today. I don't see myself going too heavy on the guys up top. I think guard's probably going to be where I'm spinning up, and power forward, possibly center, I'll be spinning up. But small forward, power forward, just like a lot of value. Anthony Grant. We'll talk about Montrezl Harrell. Montrezl Harrell at 5,500 are a value option. I'm definitely going to be on today, especially if Adams and Noel cannot play for this game. I expect this game to go small, and we see a lot of minutes from Montrezl Harrell. Like so far this year against Houston, Montrezl Harrell has been getting a lot of good run because guys like Gortat, Boban just can't run up and down the court to keep up with Houston. OKC, we know, will play fast with Russell Westbrook. If they don't have a big center on the court, that could potentially lead to Harrell getting more minutes. If Noel and Adams are both out, they're not going to have a big center on the court. So if those two guys are out, love Montrezl Harrell here at 5,500. Could be potentially be looking at 26, 27 minutes in this spot. We know how good of a point per minute producer Harrell is. So I like him as value play. I mentioned Bielitsa, who I like as a value play at 5,700. You can play Grant at power forward if you want to. He is 4,200, another really good value option. Like Robert Covington's 5,200 just feels like a really good price play. Covington just feels a tad bit too cheap. Dwayne Dedmon, he saw 27 minutes last game against Memphis and put up 41 DraftKings points. The Hawks are on a back-to-back, so they could potentially limit his minutes. But if he plays good minutes Monday against the Hawks, and we see like 25 minutes out of Dedmon on Monday, then we could see those minutes continue to be steady at that range. So we could be looking at 25, 26 minutes out of Dedmon here against Cleveland. 4,800, another value play you could go to. I mentioned Jeff Green. He's power forward eligible, 4,400. Maybe even P.J. Tucker. Tucker did get priced up to 4,700, so I'm not as heavy on him today. I don't think he's as good of a value at this price tag. I'd rather just get up to Carmelo for a little bit more, play Grant, play like Jeff Green if Markieff is out. So P.J. Tucker, even with Harden out, with that price tag increase, I'll probably shy away from him. I think that's it for power forward. You can play Decker here as well. Let's go ahead and move on to center. This is a position I'm probably going to try and spend up today. I like the expensive options. Joel Embiid against the Raptors, 9,700. Even though they're on a back-to-back, I think this is a really good spot for Embiid. Just too cheap of a price tag for Embiid. This guy can easily get 50, 55 every night. 9,700 is too cheap. Andre Drummond against Boston. It seems like Drummond just smashes every time he plays Boston. I know they just played a couple of days ago and Drummond really struggled. But I'm expecting a bounce-back game from Drummond at 8,500. I do like him. But in the mid-range, there are some strong plays here as well. So Clint Capella at 7,700, I think, is in play for me. But I really like the 6K range. I love Yusuf Nurkic at 6K. It just feels like too cheap of a price tag for Yusuf Nurkic. I feel like this is a spot where he probably plays good minutes since the Rockets have Clint Capella. They have that big center. They really can't stretch the floor. It's a center that's going to camp under the basket. That's the kind of center you want to go up against Nurkic. Like we've seen this year so far, like against Washington, he played 32 minutes, against Orlando, 30 minutes. Like fast-paced games, games where Nurkic can't keep up is when he played little minutes. 17 against the Lakers, 23 against the Spurs, 24 against Miami. Obviously, the Rockets do play fast, but they have a big center in Capella. I don't know who the Trailblazers would put on Capella if Nurkic isn't out there, so I feel like this is a spot where Nurkic has to play minutes. He's only 6K. We know how good of a point-per-minute producer Nurkic is. If he's going to play 30 minutes here, he's absolutely great play at 6K. Could easily get 7, possibly 8x this price. 40, 45 DK points is for sure in play for Nurkic. 6K, love him as a center play. And then a lot of the center plays I've already talked about, or a lot of the center plays in this 5K range I've talked about, like Harrell. Really, really like today if that game goes small. Joe Val could potentially have to play some minutes here since they're going up against Embiid. They're probably going to need Joe Val out there. Anytime Joe Val is going to play 25, 26, 27 minutes, he's definitely on my radar, and I think I probably could project Joe Val for about that amount minutes today. 5,400, really like him. But I think that's it for center. Nerlens Noel, If Steven Adams is out and Noel plays, Noel's probably one of the best values on the slate at 4,300. He started last game for Steven Adams against Phoenix and played 26 minutes and put up 52 DraftKings points. This guy's a really good point per minute producer when he's on the court. He's going to grab rebounds. He's going to score. We know Westbrook's going to be driving a lot and dishing some balls to Noel, getting him some easy dunks. So if Noel starts again and Adams is out, great value, 4,300, one of the best values on the slate. But yeah, I think that's it for center, and I think that's it for the video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy the video, and hopefully this video did help you. If you enjoyed, just make sure you drop a like. I would really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and if you do have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT, or you can leave a comment down below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. But yeah, guys, good luck on this Tuesday slate, and we will see you back again on Wednesday. Peace.